Hello and welcome to this midweek message here at Salem Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Aaron Holmgren, and this is for Wednesday the 18th. We have a lot going on here at the end of October, so I'll try and go in order. If you signed up for Feed My Starving Children, that is this Friday, so make sure that you come. So we fill the slots that we signed up for. So that's this Friday if you signed up. This Saturday is the last of the 5-part Bible study. You'll get all 4 parts in this email. And so you can catch up if you want and come in person. Otherwise, you can enjoy the study at your own pace as the videos come out. So I hope you've been enjoying this journey through the Old Testament. We've been sprinting through to try and catch the main plot. So hopefully by the end of these 5 weeks, you feel more confident entering into the Old Testament and reading it on your own and kind of figuring out where you are in the timeline of things and who's speaking and why. So that's the 5th part, Saturday the 21st from 9 to 11. We also have on the 22nd, our last day of the SLC pledge drive. So you'll hear one more pledge break in worship. You'll get to learn the top 3 hymns of Salem Lutheran Church, the top 3 favorite hymns of Salem Lutheran Church. And we'll just get to celebrate these promises that we are making and the future ministry that we can do together. So if you haven't gotten your pledge in yet, please consider doing so. Remember, if you did not pledge last year, but you do pledge this year, for this week with our new member drive, you might be eligible for a token of appreciation, which is a tote bag, and your pledge will be matched up to $500. So if no new pledges come in this week, that match won't happen. But it's an incentive and a way of saying thanks for those who kind of step up and take on this new stage of stewardship in your own faith journey. And I was telling one of our youngest members who was recently confirmed, so they can pledge. But I was telling them, even if you pledge $10 for the entire year, that will get doubled. So it's essentially like you're paying $20. It's a practice more than the amount. That is what pledging is all about. It's a commitment to be a part of this community together. So we're celebrating that at the end of our pledge drive here on the 22nd. We also have Faith Formation Sunday here on Sunday the 22nd after worship. We're going to do our songs and crafts like we always do down in the fellowship hall after worship. So all are invited to bring along your youngest and accompany them in this journey of faith together. So that's this Sunday as well. We also have, Faith Formation is here tonight. So if you're catching this video before 5:30, we are hosting the confirmation Faith Formation here with a meal, and then it's out into the neighborhood to rake leaves and do some yard work for neighbors who need a little help there. We have Trunk or Treat coming up on the 28th. That's going to be from 3 to 4:30. So again, it's an opportunity to bring your youngest to experience some decorated trunks and to get some candy in the safety of the parking lot in the middle of the day. Kind of a convenient way of doing trick or treat. I know what it's like to try and get a toddler through the streets at night for actual Halloween. So I definitely appreciate Trunk or Treat. We have poinsettias are going to be going on sale for our Christmas Eve decorations, but you need to get your order in by November 3rd. And keep in mind that there are 6 spots available for donations to members who are homebound. So if you don't get one of those 6 spots, the expectation is that you take the poinsettia home with you, or that you find a home for it, so that we can rehome these beautiful plants. Let's see, reading my scribble here. On the 29th, we have Reformation Sunday, so that's a great Sunday to wear red as we celebrate kind of our Lutheran Protestant history, and ultimately we celebrate that we are saved by grace alone through faith in God alone. And so that is a fun Sunday to get together. And I imagine we'll be singing some of our classic Lutheran hymns that might have not made the top 12 list, but are definitely beloved in our hearts. Speaking of beloved Lutheran hymns, we are moving into our second Beers, Burgers, and Hymns at Gallagher's, and that's going to be Monday the 30th in partnership with St. Stephen's, and that's 6 to 8 o'clock over at Gallagher's. We'll supply the hymns, and you supply the fellowship, and so and the voices. That's important too, as we sing together our faith out in the public. It'll be a lot of fun. I think that covers the rest of our October things, so I'm going to wrap up my announcements with that. So I'm coming off of the Bishop Theological Conference, and we had a speaker, our keynote speaker this year was talking about finding the hidden voices in Scripture, the conversations in the communities behind these texts. Like, for example, who were the people of Corinth that Paul was writing to? What conversations were they having that Paul was addressing? And it was a way of kind of liberating some voices we don't typically hear in the text, and seeing how it's not just Paul as our voice of Scripture. It's a whole community, and Paul is just the product. His words are the product of a larger conversation. Putting that in conversation with the Old Testament study, last week we talked about the exile and how there is this kind of third way of living that for people who are in exile. It's one that is lifted up in Jeremiah's letter to the exiles, of planting gardens and praying for the well-being of the nation, essentially, but also maintaining one's own identity in faith. And so it's that third way where you're not pledging entire loyalty to an empire, and you're not neglecting the neighbor who is the empire, or who are the people who benefit from it. And why I'm putting these things in conversation with one another is because our gospel text for this Sunday, the Pharisees and Herodians, an unlikely duo, try and catch Jesus in this test of should we pay taxes? And Jesus kind of goes that way of that third way of exile, of give unto Caesar what is Caesar, but give unto God what is God's. So it's that it's not an all or nothing approach. It's not pledging entire loyalty to Rome, and it's not neglecting the needs of the neighbor. And so this requires us to continually come back to those conversations had in community, like what Paul is doing with Corinth. And it requires us to continually discern what are the exact needs, and what are the ways in which we live into our faith, maintain that faith, and do so in a way that loves the neighbor and the enemy and the world. And so that blessed to be a blessing all the way back with the Abrahamic covenant is continually our call. And it takes discernment and conversation each and every day. So that's my musings for the day. Blessings on yours.